right, welcome to One Nation of Sports Locker Magazine Extra, and I am your host, Kirk DeMars, and we have got some fantasy football that we're going to be talking tonight, and I'm going to bring on the man, Jay Gill, so he can tell you a little bit about what we're going to do and who else we've got on here tonight. What is going on, Jay?
Hey, what's up, Dad? How is everything going in
It,
Missouri?
it is going. It looked like it was going to storm a little while ago, but I think that's passed over. You know,
Well,
there's
there
a
there you
storm.
go. No, little
But
little
there
summer
is a
storm.
storm coming. There is a storm coming, and it involves you and somebody else tonight. So I'm just saying.
I can't help but agree with you. When you get two bowls in a china cabinet shop, things are gonna explode. I always say, what is more happy than one pig in mud? The answer is two pigs in mud, Dad. The
Well,
answer is
yeah,
two pigs.
I would have picked
So
that.
that's
Yeah,
you don't wrestle a pig. You know why? Because you just get frustrated and the pig has fun. And so when you get me and Ryan together, magic happens. So we do have Mr. Ryan Olson coming onto the show tonight. I'm pretty sure he is now our most recurring guest that we have ever had, including last week's episode when he was on with the Man Child Chronicles. Ryan has been on our show 5 or 6 times now, including tonight. And so, very excited to get him back on here. We bring him on. This will be, 3 years in a row talking about fantasy football.
yeah.
Or 3 times now, and so 3 football seasons. So super excited, can't wait to dive in. Fantasy football is a huge passion of mine, and so uh, we can't wait to discuss all things football tonight and just how much fun we're gonna have.
And
So, anyways,
I like
Ryan,
the
if you
I like
guys
the questions. I like the questions you came up with. These are some good questions.
good.
I would not have come up with these questions, and you did an outstanding job. I just want to say good job.
Well, we'll wait
Kudos.
till the interview's over. Yeah, we'll wait. We'll wait till it's over. So, if anyone doesn't remember, Ryan is my mentor. He was one of the first bosses that I worked for that took me under his wings, molded me, helped shape me, yelled at me, screamed. We had a nice little fighting match. He ended up firing me, and then I just didn't leave. And I said, "Good, now we can get back to work." And I threw my clipboard, or I grabbed my clipboard, and I went walking out to my garden center. Anyways, a couple of hours later, we were able to sit down, laugh it off, and I had to take my lashings in stride. Ryan is a fantastic human being. I absolutely love this guy. There's not a better Yoda I could have asked for. Uh, and so, anyway, that does mean I'm Luke Skywalker, by the way. Anyways,
and that
uh,
is and
so
that is that is refreshing, just like your microphone, Jay Gill.
oh, no problem, sir.
That's
No
good.
problem.
There you go. You're awesome. I thought that was a pretty good segue
Hey,
into that.
there we go. That's very really good. You just got to keep throwing those at me.
All right.
Anyways, so yeah, let's bring on Mr. Ryan Olson, the king himself.
Let's do this just fun part as far as bringing him in here real quick. Hold on. Well, let's do this.
It's draft time.
Boom. There you go. Ryan, how's it going, man?
Kind you are, young Padawan. Boy, you guys are a sight for sore eyes. I feel like I haven't seen you in 7 days.
That's
Man.
right. Well, we are thankful to get to see you again, and I know that there is a bunch of questions that we've got that we're going to throw your way. Find out all that knowledge that you have, and maybe help some people out in our viewing audience. So, thanks for coming on.
Let's do it.
All right,
Talk some fantasy football.
there you go.
So, for everyone listening in, Ryan is a guru when it comes to football knowledge, knowing the good players to pick up in drafts, players to target. if you're playing fantasy football. Even if you're not playing that, you just like football. Ryan is the guy you want to talk with. He can entertain you for hours just talking about the good old sport of football. So, Ryan, we're going to dive in here. You've been playing fantasy football, I'm pretty sure, since the inception of it, when it started in like the mid 90s. So, you've been playing before the latest and greatest apps. Like right now, you've got all these apps that'll tell you everything, it'll tell you how to draft. You could let a computer do it for you and probably come out better than overthinking it, like me sometimes. But I'd love for you to tell the listeners, how did you and your friends used to play? And then also, why do you like fantasy football so much?
Well, a long, long time ago, Jay, in a world far, far away, in the year 1995, I started playing fantasy football. One of my friends invited me into a league that his older brother ran, who was in college. So I already thought I was the coolest kid in school, getting to hang out with college kids. And we would go to his parents' house in their basement and we would draft. Now, we didn't have a computer or a phone to go on. So we had to go to a store and buy what they call back then a magazine. I believe it was a Sporting News Fantasy Football magazine had a magazine come out, and that's what I would get, and I would rank my players. And I remember that first draft. I wrote some players down that I took. I had to go back to 1995, and I remembered some of them. And then once I started seeing some names, I'm like, oh yeah, we had those guys. We had Jeff Blake, the quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals, Tim
Oh my.
Brown from the Raiders, Ricky Waters, who played with the Eagles, Herman Moore, that played with the Lions. I thought we had the best team. I'm pretty sure we lost that year, but it was super fun. And back then, they give you the rules on a piece of paper. This is what the rules are. And if you want to figure out your score before the commish gives it to you on Fridays, because it takes them that long to go through everything, you had to wait Monday morning for the paper to come and read the box scores in the newspaper. Or you had to stay up and watch the 10 o'clock Sports Center to see all the scores and highlights with the stats at the end and try to write them down real fast because you didn't have a DVR to pause the TV. So that's pretty much how you did it. And you had to figure out, oh, did I win? Did I lose? Because you wanted to walk into school the next day, walking like this, like you won, or with your head down because you lost. It was a good time back then. A lot of trash talk. It was real fun.
No trash talk today, Ryan. I mean, come on. Nobody does
Now,
that
yeah,
anymore.
you trash talk with keyboard fingers now.
That's right.
That's not as much.
That's right.
Well, Ryan, I'm going to ask you this
So,
question.
besides,
Go ahead.
well, I was gonna say, besides just getting invited, and then being a part of the college kids, those older kids, what has kept you hooked for the last, what is this, 17 years that you're like, I'm gonna keep playing this game? Did I do my
That's
math
really
wrong?
good. That's really good. Quick.
27 years. Yeah,
Oh
sorry,
man,
27 years.
27 years. Well, I loved football going into it. I was already watching it for like 9 years or so. So I already loved football, and if you know me, Jay, I'm very competitive. So between the two, it was just kind of a natural fit. And I went to school, and they would give me to study this or study that. I couldn't remember anything, but when it came to football and stats, I'm like the Rain Man when I look at these things. I remember everything. So it just worked out great for me.
Like Rain Man.
I love it.
I'm just waiting for the impersonation there, but you can do that anytime you want.
Go to Kmart. Go to Kmart. Got to get my underwear at Kmart. Dad, let
All
me
right.
back down the driveway. Drive a car.
That's great. All right. Okay, Ryan. So I got to ask this question. For somebody that does not play fantasy football, myself, what about other people as well? Why should we play fantasy football, and how would we go about doing that?
Well, the really good thing about why people should play nowadays is because, uh, especially the younger generation or even the older generation,
Okay,
a
that
lot of
would be me.
people, yes, a lot of people don't go out as much anymore as they used to. because you have everything at your fingertips at your house. This kind of gets you socialized a lot better with people, give you a lot of camaraderie with the people in your league, trash talk. And, when you watch the games, it's like watching the games on steroids, man. It is so fun to watch. There isn't a game you don't want to watch because either your player's going or you're going against somebody that has a player going, so you're rooting. I mean, you're watching teams you never played before, and you just become a super NFL fan, and it's just, man, it is the media and social media and everything out there is just geared towards fantasy football monster right now, and it's a fun time to play.
And so, again, this is just a question. So how would the family handle all that?
They just have to understand, Kirk. They just like my wife. Before I got with my wife, I would watch all the baseball games, all the college football, all the basketball, and I said, "Just give me Sundays, Jamie. Just give me Sundays," and we agreed on that. And the kids know it. The kids know when Sunday football's on. Dad's downstairs on the couch watching football.
All right, that's a good answer. You gave up some stuff. That's awesome.
I did. I compromised.
All right, very good. Thank you.
So Ryan, let's talk a little draft strategy this year for anyone tuning in. So for a 1-year team, so this is that redraft league, which is the most popular way to play right now. What do you recommend? Like, are you going the no running back draft? Are you taking QBs and tight ends early? What should people focus on when they're doing the early part of their draft?
Well, you can't. I mean, you can go in with a strategy. The best thing to do when you go into it, first off, you got to know the league you're in. So, look at the scoring, look at the format. Um, Make sure you understand all that before you go into drafting people, because that can make a big difference on who you draft. Second, you got to know where you draft, and you kind of got to let the draft fall to you. So what I always recommend is to get tiers of players. So have like a first 10 guys you want to pick, and stick to that. Stick to your tiers of each round. Figure out, when should I take a quarterback? When should I take a receiver? And go round by round. And when you draft online or draft anywhere, you can kind of map it out. And you can say in the third round, there's no wide receivers I like, so I'm taking a running back. Or maybe it's the sixth round, you don't like any running backs or wide receivers. That might be the time to take your quarterback. So you got to prepare a little bit and let the draft fall to you. Um, I don't think you should ever go into a draft saying, I'm going to draft running back heavy, or I'm going to draft one running back, or a zero RB approach is what they call it. But you got to let the draft fall to you that way. If you're late in the draft and you pick a wide receiver and the next pick comes and you don't like what's out there but a wide receiver, you take another wide receiver. Take the best that's on your board by what you have tiered and stick to your guns. It works out the best usually.
That's great. I want also people that are watching, make sure that you guys are chiming in, making comments, helping Ryan out, or asking him questions. Whatever you want to do, feel free to jump on here. This is Fantasy Football Night, and we are going to talk some more football here. I've got to really quickly, before I ask this question, I want to just read off something that we saw that had taken place. I think it was, you said, on the NFL Network. We're going to name the top 10 players that the other players voted for. Top 10 out of the 100. Number 10, Travis Kelce of the Kansas City Chiefs. Number 9, Jalen Ramsey of the Rams. Number 8, Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs. Number 7, Devante Adams of the Los Vegas Raiders. They moved so many times, I don't even know. TJ Watt of the Steelers. Jonathan Taylor of the Colts. Cooper Kupp of the Rams. Aaron Rodgers of Green Bay. Aaron Donald of the Rams. And somebody that is like not quite my age, but he's getting closer, Tom Brady of the Bucks. So that's what they said. Now here's my question, Ryan. Here it is. Before we go into break, what's your feeling this year with the MVP candidates? Is Aaron Rodgers going to get 3 in a row, or is somebody else besides quarterback going to get it this year?
There ain't no way Aaron Rodgers is getting 3 in a row. Aaron Rodgers has never had 3 consecutive great seasons. I'm just going to throw that out there. Everything is set up for him this year to not have a great statistical season. Now, he'll still be a good quarterback, but he ain't going to put it when he loses a Devante Adams who demands 170 targets and the guy can get open on every play, and you don't replace that guy with anybody, you ain't repeating what you did last year. That team is going to want to run first and run often and play defense. They'll be good, but he ain't going to be MVP. I can guarantee you that.
I would agree. So who's going to get it? Who's your candidates?
Everybody's candidate, the best odds in Vegas is Josh Allen, which I can't disagree with on that one. But my pick for MVP this year is a dark horse. He's from the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to go Jalen Hurts for MVP this year. And I'll go into more why I think he's going to be MVP later.
All right, that's good. Jay, I want to ask you, who's your pick?
For MVP,
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes.
Dude, no, let the players call it. It's going to be his final year, his farewell tour. He not only will he win MVP, let him win another Super Bowl. Tom Brady, TB12, come on.
I think we need to refresh that along with something else, and we're going to. I think it's going to be Aaron Donald. I think a defensive player is going to come in this year and get it.
Only one has ever won it, Kirk. You know who that was?
Was it Reggie White?
LT.
Lawrence Taylor. Same time period, but yes, he was a man. Yep. And I remember when what was it, Joe Theismann? Wasn't he the one that tackled him? Yeah, that was nasty.
Yeah, he tackled Joe Theismann. Yep.
Broke that leg. Horrible. All right, Jake. We're ready to go into the next segment. Why don't we go ahead and take our commercial break here real quick, and we will be right back, guys.
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
While I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
Not everybody is an 8 to 5 Monday through Friday type. At CNS, we have employment options for the way you want to work with our flexible scheduling program. Flexible scheduling is designed to fit your lifestyle and allows you to be in control of your schedule. CNS offers insurance plans upon employment. Celebrating 45 years of staffing, CNS Business Services.
Say yes to CNS.
We absolutely love our sponsors here at One Nation. The Missouri Army National Guard. We can't thank them enough for all they do, not only for mid-Missouri, but also just for our country in general. Very, very happy to have them on the show. They say statistically 5% of everyone that is eligible to sign up for the military, 5% of all people have that calling inside their heart, something pushing them in, to sign up and serve their country, and less than 1% truly act on it. So if you have that calling, if you have that desire, and you're trying to find a place that you can go to that's going to take care of you, get you lined up with the right job, and work with you, then I'm telling you, reach out to the Missouri Army National Guard. They do a fantastic job, and we know several students through the schools that have gone with them, and they have had the best experience. So please, if you have that calling, sign up for the Missouri Army National Guard.
Jay,
our other sponsor.
Jay, before you do that, one other thing that they do a great job is when there's a static on their communications out in the field, they're able to correct that by, just doing a couple of different things, and then they're able to move on to their next project.
And I have to just keep refreshing this microphone, and hopefully that static can stay at bay. Our next sponsor is CNS Business Services. They have been around for 45 years, and we are absolutely thrilled to be partnered up with them. Like I said, they've been around for over 4 decades, and they will help you if you are looking for a job, if you are searching for that company where your core values line up and you're needing a place of employment. Reach out to CNS Business Services. They will help you get your career jump started, and they are a fantastic company to work with. Especially because they know what they're doing. They've been around for so long. So that's our sponsors, Missouri Army National Guard and CNS Business Services. Can't thank them enough.
We're in segment 2. Hit it. Hey, hold on.
Diving right into football. Hey.
Real quick here. I want to mention something because you'd mentioned Aaron Donald for your MVP there, Kirk.
Well, and then not who I really want, but that was just a thought.
Well, then we talked about LT, Lawrence Taylor. Did you know that Lawrence Taylor, when he broke Joe Theismann's leg, Joe Theismann was the Washington Redskins quarterback. They did it at the same time in the game, the same place on the field. Aaron Donald did that to Alex Smith, the Redskins quarterback. All the same stuff. How freaky is that?
Wasn't that crazy? I remember that. That was really. I wouldn't want to come up on that cycle again. That was horrific. Both of them.
No kidding. The crazy part is Alex Smith came back and actually played some games. So huge shout out to him. He's one tough guy. When you have your bones split, get to my camera, this way and not break. That's insane to me, to split vertically and not horizontally.
Yeah. He busted that leg real good.
Anyways,
I want to just point out something real quick. I mean, you are bringing some serious go to the show, Ryan. I mean, you've got the headband, the glasses, you've got your New York Jets shirt on.
Yep.
I mean, I think that's going to tell us a little something about who you're rooting for. So we'll get to that obviously later. I know Jay's going to do that.
I don't mess around and bust my leg like Alex Smith busts his leg.
Okay.
It's still too soon. Anyways, diving back into some
Slim Jim.
Slim Jim.
Oh, yeah. I like to see my fans coming back out here tonight. We're doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that on the Fantasy Football Podcast tonight. Oh, yeah. Dig it, Shelby. Yeah.
Thank you, Shelby.
I just had to bust that out.
You should get paid for that. You should get paid for doing these. People would pay you just to do that impression and say happy birthday to people or get well soon. Like, I can see it. You get an account set up. Anyways, diving right back into fantasy football, who are going to be the busts this year? Guys who are picked by name, but will ultimately disappoint you.
It's almost like I was trying to segue you into that question, Jay.
You just didn't
quite pick that up. I have. We'll get to Katie's question here. Hopefully, my wife's not listening when I say how many fantasy leagues I'm in. But let me talk to you about some of my busts this year. Okay, I have 3 of them for you. I got a running back, a wide receiver, and a quarterback. My running back bust this year is Naji Harris, the running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He had a great fantasy football season last year. But when I watched him, he didn't look all that great. Didn't run for very long because they have a terrible offensive line. Well, he did good because Ben Roethlisberger, every time he took a snap, threw it immediately to him after he got the ball. Well, old Big Ben's not there anymore. They got Mitchell Trubisky, or a young quarterback that can move, and Trubisky likes to run the ball. So he ain't going to get all those catches out of the backfield, and they still have a terrible offensive line. So I think he was like a top 5 or 6 running back last year. I see him around 15 this year. Wide receiver, everybody still has him as one of the best in the league. And physically and his route running, he probably is one of the best in the league. But as far as fantasy goes, where you're drafting him, he is a bust, and that's Devante Adams. Listen, when you go from an offense, I just talked about a bit ago, where he gets 180 targets to the Oakland Raiders, where he has competition with now. He's got Hunter Renfrow, who is a target monster, Darren Waller, a big tight end, and Derek Carr as a quarterback. Nothing against Derek Carr, but he's never thrown for more than 31 touchdowns in his career. He did it once. He's mostly around 23 to 25. He always throws for around 3,500 yards. He just doesn't do it that much. And with that and other people to throw the ball to, he's just not going to have that. He'll have an okay season, but where you're drafting him in drafts right now around the second round, he ain't worth it. He's more like a 6th-round pick, what he's going to put up this year. And my quarterback bust, I love it. It is Tom Brady. He doesn't look very good right now in camp. I think the 45 is going to get him. If you want to get to Tom Brady, you get through him through the interior of the line. And why I say that is because the Buccaneers from last year have lost their starting center to injury in preseason, and both their starting guards from last year, they're all gone, which makes the inside of that line vulnerable, he's going to be out one of his top receivers to start the year. He lost Antonio Brown when he said peace out at the Jets game last year, so he's out him as well. And he's another year older. The guy does not have wheels. He's like mobile as a pregnant cow back there. So I see him having an okay year, but probably not the way he wanted to end his career. He is my bust quarterback.
We mentioned, I know one guy that I'm thinking is going to bust as well is going to be Tyreek Hill. I don't think he's going to have the stats that he has had. What do you think?
I agree 100%. I actually think the other receiver there, Jalen Waddle, will have a better season than Tyreek Hill. I still think he can take the top off the defense, but when you go from Patrick Mahomes, who, in my opinion, is the best quarterback in football, to Tua, who, the guy puts everything into it, maybe can throw it 50 yards, he ain't going to have the season he usually does.
Yeah, and we saw what happened with Mahomes last year when they took the 2 on the top. And, if they do that there, then, what are they going to do? They're not going to be able to figure that out quick enough. So,
and it's not Andy Reid as a coach anymore. So
that's right.
Andy Reid is very good at calling up plays and designing plays. So.
Hey, do you guys want to answer this question real quick from Katie? You guys want to hit that one?
All right.
You want me to go first, Ryan?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. I am in 3 leagues. I've got 2 dynasty leagues that I'm in, which means I'm keeping the same players every year. Both dynasty leagues are ran a little different, so it's fun because it's not always the same. And then I am in a redraft league with my work, and so we redraft a new team every year. Last year I was the championship in that league. Very excited to do that again. When it comes to how much time it takes, it takes some time. You want to make sure you're checking your waiver wires. You want to see who's been who's available, who's getting dropped when they shouldn't be. You always want to pay attention to that. So I don't know how much time I technically put into it, but I do love football, and it feels like it goes by really fast. I'll tell you that.
Ryan, you want to go ahead and answer those questions?
I don't, but I will.
Anything you say can and will be used against you.
I am in just a couple more than Jay. I'm in 22 leagues. What I tell my wife is it's not for fun. It's an investment because in all honesty, I always win quite a few leagues, or I place in a lot of leagues. So I always come out way ahead at the end of the year for money wise. Have a lot of fun, and it does take a lot of time going in there. Half of my leagues are best ball leagues, which are you draft your team and you don't even have to touch it till the end of the year. It automatically puts your best lineup in there. So I don't have to address those, but the other ones I do. And, I can just do that by going to the bathroom in the morning, and I'm usually good.
Okay.
There you go.
We have another viewer that, one of those other guys from the Man Child podcast. Why don't we answer that one? Can you teach him to football?
Listen,
we've been
trying
trying
to teach this. We've been trying to teach this numbskull football for 3 years now. He's in a league with me and Jay that we have in a dynasty league, and he's had one of the best teams for 3 years, and he doesn't know anything about football. It's infuriating. Me and Jay just keep telling him who to take and what to do.
Michael,
Mike, you have to watch the games. Like, just turn them on. Start to enjoy football. That's how you can teach to football. You need to watch. You still don't watch any games, buddy.
Yep.
Oh, Shelly's not quite buying the 22s.
I think Shelly also was curious if natural talent. We carry your team. I think Shelly also asked if she thought Tom Brady retired. Yeah, he did. Tom Brady did retire, and then he unretired, and he's back. So you are not wrong if you thought you had heard that. It's hard to take out Tom Brady. He is he's still going.
Well, speaking of still going, and I'm going to ask this next question: what about breakout candidates? Those players that are being set up with good situations.
Well, good situations or high volume, as I like to call it in fantasy football. Breakout players that I feel are going to break out this year. I'm going to go first with one of my Jets. That is the wide receiver they drafted in the second round last year, Elijah Moore. The guy looks electric. Listen, last year, this guy in a 6-game stretch was the number 2 wide receiver in the league, and then he had injuries, but he was on fire. He's looking great in camp this year. The Jets improved their offensive line. I'm looking for him to have a huge leap this year. You can get him late in drafts this year, and he's going to have huge upside. I could see him being top 10 potential by the end of the year. Another receiver, Michael Pittman for the Indianapolis Colts. He had a great season last year with Carson Wentz as his quarterback. Now, Carson Wentz, he is a terrible quarterback. They upgraded to Matt Ryan, a little older, but super accurate, a good quarterback still. And he's literally their only target to throw to in Indianapolis. So I look for him to have a huge year. Running back, he's coming off of an Achilles injury, J.K. Dobbins for Baltimore. He's going to start the year off, probably the first couple games a little slow, but that Baltimore team is built to run downhill and run. Mm-hmm. They tried doing that last year with Fossils, Le'Veon Bell, and Devontae Freeman, 2 old guys, and they still ran the ball. This guy, when he was a rookie, was unbelievable. Finished the year, I think, as the number 1 or 2 running back, like over the last 6 games, but he should be electric. And talked about him earlier. My breakout quarterback is Jalen Hurts. He was great last year in his first year starting, but they brought in a big-time receiver in A.J. Brown. A big problem with him last year is he threw some really nice deep balls, and his guys dropped everything.
Yep.
So now he's got a couple of good targets. He's got a good tight end. Another year in the system. He's a running quarterback, which is huge for fantasy because it's a lot of extra points. I look for him to have a big breakout season, and like I said, he's my MVP pick for the year.
Okay. That's good. Thank you. Jay, hit him.
All right, so this can be a little bit of a harder one, but I want those late
as you
round,
refresh.
I want those late round sleeper picks, players that you can grab late and have the potential to have an explosive season.
So late round sleeper picks, these are the guys you're drafting at the very end of the draft. You want super upside, guys that are basically free, and they end up just like exploding onto the scene. And if they're not good, you just drop them and pick up the hot waiver wire pickup. But my guys this year for sleeper, the first guy was a sleeper, and he seems to be moving up the draft boards, but I'm still going to say him. Damien Pierce from Houston. They haven't named him the starter, but he's going to be the starter. This guy is like a human wrecking ball when he's running the ball. He's unbelievable rookie. He's out of Houston. They're not going to be the greatest team, but from where you're getting him right now, he was going as the 34th quarter or running back. He's going to get a huge workload. He should be probably a top 20-ish running back, which is pretty good when you get him that late. The other two guys, got a quarterback, Trevor Lawrence from Jacksonville. He was the number one pick last year, and everybody tried to tank for Trevor the year before. Great coming out of college, looked great in Syracuse. Came into a bad situation last year with Urban Meyer. Just a terrible coach, terrible human being
my
too.
Goodness.
I felt bad for that team because he just destroyed that team. But they brought in a good coach, Doug Peterson, former Super Bowl champion coach with the Eagles. Brought a lot of weapons in for him. He is a good talent, and you can get him for free. Nobody's drafting him in redrafts. He's worth taking a shot at the end, because if he comes out of nowhere and becomes what they thought he was going to become, what a steal. The other one is Wandel Robinson out of New York Giants, their rookie wide receiver. He got the starting slot job for the Giants, and why this is big is their new coach, Brian Dabble, who came from Buffalo Bills. The system he runs, the slot receiver, typically gets 120 to 150 targets a year, and they end up catching 90 balls a year, 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns is what they've averaged over the last 4 years, and that's his position now at the Giants, and they really don't have anybody else to throw the ball to. He looked good in preseason, so I'm looking for him. You get him free too. Huge upside there. Could win you a lot of leagues, because a guy you can get free and stick in your lineup each week is better than anybody else can get.
That's good. All right. So who are your go-to players this year? Players that you're taking or you're trying to trade for that you want long-term?
All right. Well, I got a few written down here. Obviously, I want Jalen Hurts. You got to get him about in the 6th round of a draft. If I can't get Jalen Hurts, I'm going for Russell Wilson, who's with Denver now. I still consider him an elite quarterback. He's got a lot of weapons there. His coach is the former offensive coordinator of the Packers, so they're going to want to throw the ball. He's got a lot of weapons and a good defense behind him too, so they should be able to let Russ cook this year. The running back I like is Aaron Jones out of Green Bay. He shares the backfield with A.J. Dillon, but like I said before, they have no receivers there. They're going to throw the ball, and when you lose your best receiver, the next year the guy who gets the most targets lost from that guy is the running back. He's a great back out of the backfield catching it. He's going to catch a lot of balls this year, and he's already a good running back. He's going to get a lot of touches. Receiver, Cortland Sutlin out of Denver. He came back last year from an ACL injury, so he's 1 year removed from that. And he's got Russell Wilson compared to Drew Lock last year. He should just be great. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, I love this guy. If you watch Hard Knocks on HBO, they did an interview with Amon-Ra St. Brown. He was a rookie last year, and they asked him what motivates him this year, and he named off the 17 wide receivers that were drafted before him, the order they were drafted, their first and last name, the college they went to, and the team that drafted him, all by memory. So this guy has got quite the chip on his shoulder. I can't wait to watch it. And my tight end.
And probably how many fantasy football leagues they're in. He probably had that stat too.
Yeah, I try to get him in every league.
Okay.
And the tight end I really like this year is Dalton Schultz out of the Dallas Cowboys. They lost Amari Cooper, their number one receiver. Their line's not looking very good. And why that's a big deal is because he's going to have to get rid of the ball quick, and tight ends typically run those short routes and short releases. So that's usually throw the ball to. So I'm looking, he was good last year, finished as number 3. I could see him getting up to 2 or 1 this year with the increased targets he's going to get.
Very good. That's lots of good information. You know,
Man, it's too good. I hope no one from my work is listening to this because it is gold. I'm telling you, it's gold.
you know,
Kirk,
speaking
were
of
you?
gold, I do have something I want to share real quick. I had this come in. This is hot off the presses. My wife Angela just came in from the side. You guys didn't even see her, but here's something that next week on One Nation of Sports Locker Magazine Extra, we have Rend Collective. Gareth Gilkison is going to be our guest on the program, along with Brooke Olam from Spirit FM. And here's what we're doing this week. We are going to have a contest to have somebody that's a super fan as a guest live on the program with Gareth and Brooke and myself. All they have to do is go to Redemption Inside the Walls Facebook page this week, like it, share it, and be entered in the contest. The winner will be announced this Friday, and then you will be on the program with us next week. Make sure you do that. All right.
What if I win that contest, Kirk? I'd be on 3 weeks in a row.
You would be. You know,
Olson,
and
that would be fantastic.
that would be amazing. I wonder, you know, you might have to wear the Irish flag for this one on the bandana.
Yeah.
That's great. All right, Jay, go ahead, bud.
Oh, I love it. So, Ryan, I want to spend the next probably about 10 minutes. I want to finish up here talking about real football because you have given us so much gold for fantasy. Who is going to be the surprise teams this year that come out way better than expected? Or what are going to be the teams that disappoint compared to their power rankings?
Well, I got a couple surprise teams and 3 disappointing teams. My 2 surprise teams are the Minnesota Vikings. I think they're going to have a huge year. I think that they could go all the way to the NFC Championship, maybe even the Super Bowl. I don't know.
Wow.
Kirk Cousins, a very underrated quarterback, but over the last several years, one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the league. They got rid of their defensive-minded, run-first mentality coach. They brought in an offensive guru, the Rams offensive coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett. I don't know if you ever watched the Rams games over the past few years, but those guys can score. They already got 2 great wide receivers. They already got a great running back. I see that team being – a lot of people aren't picking them to make the playoffs. I think they will win that division and be one of the top seeds. The other team in the NFC is another surprise team is the Carolina Panthers. I just love this story. I just want Baker Mayfield to just be great this year. What they did to him in Cleveland is just disgusting. I want him to come out. I want him to win MVP this year. I want him to come out and just dominate, take Carolina to the playoffs. They have a good enough team to do it. I think he can. Now, some of my teams that I don't think will be very good, I don't think the Miami Dolphins are going to be that good. Just because you get Tyreek Hill does not make you a playoff contender. They got they got rid of a great coach last year and brought a new guy in. This new guy doesn't impress me at all. I just don't see it. Tua, I just don't think is that good. I don't. In fact, I see them getting last in the division.
Wow.
In the AFC East. The Cowboys, they just lost too much on the offensive line. I think they were fine when they lost Amari Cooper, but they lost. They just lost their left tackle. They lost their right tackle earlier in free agency. They just lost too much on that line. I just don't see it. They were a bubble team last year. I think the Eagles are too good. I think Washington's too good, and I just don't see them probably third in the division.
So Ryan,
and the
real
other
quick,
just
real quick. Speaking of the Cowboys, I mean, I know you hear it all the time too, but every single year they are picking the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl. Every year.
Every year. It's
all
so
over.
annoying.
It's all over ESPN and everywhere. They're always picking them. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I'm gonna love it this year when they don't make the playoffs again. I do not like the Cowboys. My last disappointing team is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now I think they're going to make the playoffs as a wild card, but I don't think they're going to be that good this year like they were the past few years. So they're going to be disappointing.
All right, that's some good stuff right there, and picking out some people are going to be upset about a few of those, and that's That's all right. That's, I'm just saying that from the perspective of being a Chiefs fan for all those years. And, I was screaming for Elvis to leave the building. I'm not kidding you. That was one time when he needed to leave the building.
Come on, Gerback. Come on.
Oh, my goodness. Those days, I mean, we had some great quarterback names. Steve Bono. I mean, we had some.
You had all the San Francisco 49ers garbage they got rid of. They just kept coming
Yep.
to the Kansas City Chiefs.
We did have, however, Joe Montana.
Yeah, you
One
did.
time.
Yep.
One time when we almost got there. I don't think we would have done anything, but we almost got there. All right, so
Yep.
let's go ahead and call out the winners of each division and wild cards. Who's going to the playoffs this year?
All right. In the AFC, the number 1 seed I got is the Buffalo Bills, the winner of the East Division. The number 2 seed, I got the Baltimore Ravens out of the North. 3, I got the Indianapolis Colts out of the South. I got the Chargers to win the West. Wild card teams, Denver, Kansas City, and the Cincinnati Bengals are the wild cards.
Okay.
In the NFC, I got the Rams to win the West. They got such an easy division. I'm a little worried about Matthew Stafford's elbow. He's got a sore elbow going on, but that division's too easy. I got the Vikings winning the North, Philly winning the East, the Bucks winning the South, Green Bay, Panthers, and the Cardinals as wild card teams.
Okay. That's good. That's good stuff right there. I can't argue with too many of those at all.
Boy, I hate the Chargers winning the division. You kidding me?
I'm going to have to say real quick. Look at
they got
I'm just happy if we do get into the playoffs this year because look at that division, how loaded it is.
Oh my goodness.
You guys, I'm just going to tell you, the Chiefs have the worst defense in that division, and it ain't even close. The only reason I got him in there is they got this guy called Patrick Mahomes. It's the only reason they sneak in because that guy is unbelievable.
Anything the defense can give us will be a bonus, but that is a brutal division. They've got a brutal schedule. I mean, they've got a tough schedule.
Yep.
All right. So I will save tears for later, but all right, go ahead, Jay.
All right. Refresh. There we go. Looking here. Final question then. Out of all those teams you named, who's doing it? Who's making it to the Super Bowl? And who's coming out victorious? I do remember, I think it was 2 seasons ago, you called the winner of the Super Bowl on this show. Let's do it again.
All right. Well, these are 2 teams I think can make the Super Bowl. As I was thinking about this pick, I'm like, man, this would be one of the funnest Super Bowls if these 2 teams could make it, and I'm going to tell you why. It's the Bills and the Vikings. These are 2 teams that have each lost 4 Super Bowls. These fans at these franchises have gone through so much heartache, so much disappointment. What a build-up for a Super Bowl. And at the end of the day, you're going to be, no matter who wins, you're going to be like, oh, I'm happy for those fans. They finally won a Super Bowl.
That's how we were in Kansas City.
Yes. Well, you guys at least won one a long time ago. These guys have lost. I mean, the Vikings were just dominant in the 70s and the Bills in the 90s, and they went to all those Super Bowls, and they can never come. And both teams have been good for years, making the playoffs, and they can never do it. And I think both teams are set up and good enough to make a run and go for it this year.
Jay, what's your picks on those?
If it's the Bills versus the Vikings, Bills are going to win. I love the Vikings. Kirk Cousins has saved me more than once on my fantasy team. And so anytime someone talks bad about Kirk Cousins, I'm like, hey, what quarterback throws for 5,400 yards and is still considered trash? Like, quit talking out your mouth. You don't know what you're saying. But at the end of the day, I'd have to root for the AFC. I'd go for Bills.
Yeah, but who would be your picks? I mean, I know those were Ryan's picks. Who are your picks?
I thought you just wanted me to pick Super Bowl champion.
No, but that's okay. Go ahead. Who would you say is going to be in the Super Bowl?
Going into the Super Bowl, Kansas City always has a chance to make it to the Super Bowl. But when you're playing in such a tough division, I honestly think Bills are going to the Super Bowl this year, and I think it's going to be Bills versus Rams.
Okay. That was actually what my pick was going to be, is the Bills versus the Rams, but I do have the Rams beating the Bills.
Nah.
Yeah, that defense is brutal.
That's the odds.
I know it is.
Vegas has the Bills and the Rams.
Okay.
I think they got the Bills winning it though. So
do they? Okay. Well, I don't know anything, but that's I would have gone along with Jay saying, maybe the Chiefs can get back in there. There's always hope.
Always hope. Always hope.
Hey guys,
Ryan, he didn't even put the Jets into the playoffs though. So
I know.
No hope.
No. The AFC is just so good. It's so hard to get.
Crazy good.
Like, I think they're going to be a lot better this year, but it's so hard to get a team like that into the playoffs in the AFC.
Ryan, you did an awesome job again. I mean, this fantasy football program tonight, I mean, you keep doing it every year, and this one just took it up another notch. It's like the AFC West. It is just absolutely loaded, and you loaded us with some information. Jay, I'm going to let you close out here real quick, but again, I want to remind you guys, I'm going to read this off again real quick. Next week's program, Rend Collective, we've got Gareth Gilkison and Brooke Olam. Brooke Olam is from Spirit FM. Gareth is from Rend Collective. So make sure you join us. If you want to be on the program as a super fan guest, go to Redemption Inside the Walls Facebook page this week. Like it, share it, and be entered in the contest. The winner will be announced this Friday. And you know what? Ryan, you could possibly win. That could be 3 weeks in a row.
Third time's a charm. I'll have a good show one of these times.
Your wife might say this is getting really close to the number of the fantasy football leagues you're in.
Yep.
It's not just Sunday anymore. It's Mondays.
Yep.
All right. Thank you. Jay, go ahead.
Oh man, we could talk here for hours about football. As you guys know, I always write an article to go into Sports Locker magazine. It's called The Final Page. And let's just say the entire final page is about football and why it brings so much joy into my life. So I can go on and on about how great it is, but we do have to wrap up. One Nation, we are so glad you guys joined us tonight. If you're a fan of football, I know you had fun. If you're needing fantasy football advice, you got it here tonight, folks. You know who to target in the drafts, and we can just make this a real fun season. So we thank you guys so much for tuning in. We are here every Monday night. If you want us to keep bringing you guys awesome guests, you know what you got to do. Like our program, share it, and then comment away just like you did tonight. We thank you guys so much. Hope you have a great week. God bless, and we'll see you next week.
And I'm going to say the same thing, but I want Ryan to close us out with a little bit of Macho Man here in just a second. But thank you guys so much for joining us. Ryan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Sports Locker Nation, for joining us tonight. Oh, yeah. Dig it, brother.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you guys next week.